Feels strange to be out here on our boat.
We're on a plane. I can't believe it, but we're on a plane.
Whoa!
Black as coal oil there.
Oh! I'm so nervous and excited.
Stuff moving and growing on there. Look at all that.
Hey there, I'm Kelsey, that's Tim, and this is the story of our adventure. Life is fleeting, and we want to squeeze every bit out of it. We are wandering the world, so home is a bit of a moving target for us. We love finding the random, the remote, and sharing it all with you. So subscribe to get lost with us and hopefully find some inspiration to go after your own dreams.
Welcome back, guys.
Hey.
Last week we left you with us just getting onto the boat. It has been a heck of a week over
Yes.
here. So with that in mind, cheers.
It's happy hour. Cheers.
And cheers. So last week we left you guys with us being dropped off on the boat, everyone leaving, and us knowing almost nothing about how the boat worked because the seller hadn't been on the boat in years.
Yep.
And the selling broker was pretty worthless and didn't know how anything worked
Yeah.
and really what worked and what didn't.
So we were on our own to figure it all out.
Absolutely. We didn't even know if the dinghy floated. We
No.
hoped it did. We did run the dinghy engine for about 2 seconds here before we bought it.
Yeah.
But it was time to put it in the water and see if we had a working dinghy.
Were we stranded? Were we not?
And hang around today till the end. We have an exciting announcement of what this boat is going to be named.
Yes.
There's no way you could guess what it is.
So you just pull back towards you?
Yep. Up. See, it's in the lock, just like the windows. There you go. At the moment, we have a working dinghy engine, and it's on.
We don't have very many handles on our dinghy. They keep falling off.
Yeah.
This one fell off as soon as I touched
We
it.
got one here, one there.
That one and that one is falling
We'll
off.
get rid of the ones that don't work so we don't accidentally grab them. We got a nice cleat in here. The aluminum bottom seems strong, so in general, it's not a bad little dinghy.
It floats.
What's that?
It floats.
Floats. Here goes nothing. Maybe I'll be back. We have reverse. I can confirm we have reverse.
There goes Tim in the maiden dinghy voyage. We just got it in the water and the engine on, and it seems to be floating. Feels strange to be out here on our boat, but also so good. But it's like trying to just figure everything out, how everything works. And so far everything's going smoothly.
We're on a plane. I can't believe it, but we're on a plane.
Going for my first dinghy ride around our boat.
It's so clean with all the little things. So happy that we had a working dinghy,
Yes.
slow but working dinghy. We decided to lift up the trifold doors and open this boat up.
Yeah, that was so cool. That was the first time we had actually done it because we knew it could do it and we had tested that the stuff all worked, but we hadn't actually pulled the doors up.
I was a little worried the whole door was just going to fall down.
Yeah.
All of a sudden we go, okay, one more thing to fix, but it didn't. And we had our big open area like we love.
So cool.
And then our first visitor came by the boat and somebody just kayaked up and was asking us about the boat, etc.
Yep.
That's Mark. Don't know Mark more than an hour ago. He was kayaking by and just liked the boat, so we chatted, and then we told him it was our first couple of hours ever on board, and we just bought it. And he kayaked away, and then he came putting up just now and brought us a bottle of champagne.
That was so nice.
That's amazing. So I gotta say, the boat community is just, I think because you're all in it together, you're just hand over fist working and burning money, and there's all the tough part of it. But so far, the ability of everyone, or the desire of everybody to stick together is so cool. Like,
Yeah.
If I had a problem right now, I feel like I could start yelling or get on the radio and someone would help us. And the same, if any of these other people need help, I want to jump in and do whatever we gotta do. So that's a really cool thing.
Yeah.
So thanks, Mark.
That's awesome. So the boat had about 30,000 champagne flutes and wine glasses in there, plastic of course, but I did save a few of them, and I didn't think we'd be using them this soon. But we now have champagne, so we'll use our champagne flutes.
It's so crazy.
Don't pop a hole in our ceiling.
I know, right? I don't think this is that caliber. Let's
And
see.
don't get it sticky all over our floor, please.
I don't know. I have to.
Whoa!
That had more than I thought it would too. I'll admit that.
We got the cork.
We got the cork still, and there's no hole in the ceiling. So.
This is real life.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I just said to Kelsey, isn't there like an adult that comes along and says, you can't do this? You know, like
Yeah.
you can't, this is not possible. We're repossessing the boat. We're taking everything away from you. Like it doesn't feel like this is something you can do.
No.
Certainly not us, considering where we were and then where I was 15 years ago. $0, 0 cents.
This is crazy.
Yeah. And I think to even have dreams this big, I still find really hard. But I'm really glad that
so scared to go
we
for these
together
things.
are able to do these
Yeah.
things, because both of us agree there was at least 20 times, maybe 50 times, but 20 definitive times where we both turned to each other and said, I would have pulled the ripcord and just gone home and said, let me think about it, and then just been like, there's no frickin' way we're spending that kind of money, or that we don't know what we're doing, or what if we screw up, or what if we, and all that can happen. But together, you know, we just do things we would never do alone.
Yeah.
I'm just floored. Cheers.
Cheers. I feel like I should get the better camera with the better mic.
Well, whatever the audio is, this is the real one. So, doesn't matter. That's actually not bad. Maybe I like champagne.
So, thank you for joining us for our first night on the water.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna turn the cameras off and just enjoy
Yeah.
this and being here and experience it for ourselves, and then we'll see you in the morning when we start more projects.
Absolutely. Endless projects. So
Yes.
cheers. Thanks
Cheers,
for coming
guys. We'll see you tomorrow. So that was an amazing way to kick off boat life, and yeah, that was a good night.
Absolutely, but it was time to get to work.
Yes.
And we needed to figure out these engines. They hadn't had a lot of love for a long time.
Yeah, we have a critical list of stuff to do, and engines was first.
Absolutely.
I have to say, this is probably the first time this has ever been out. It's just the air filter for this engine. I bought one for each. Obviously, you're pulling air from a confined space, so it shouldn't be too terrible. But at some point, I should take this apart and we'll re-spray paint it. This,
Yeah.
because there was water in this bilge building up, that side has so much more corrosion. This side's a clean engine, that side's a rusty, mildewy engine. So you can see it's pretty rusty. I'm just gonna try and get all this loose rust out of here so we're not sucking it into the engine. And then this, if you bang it, it's just tons of stuff falling off of it. So we'll go ahead and put a fresh air filter in this one and clean this up here. And then reassemble it all.
All right, next up.
Next up, oil change. There, black as coal oil there. I mean, after all, this is a diesel, but I'm also gonna guess that this is some pretty old oil. Might
Yeah.
be from Australia. Hopefully not. But
New oil.
fresh oil.
Okay.
So we've moved on to coolant. So these engines are, hold on one second, I'll be back with you in a moment. They're raw seawater and coolant cooled. So, trying to get all the coolant out of two different drain spots.
I can't say how thankful I am that Tim is good at all this stuff, because it's saving us a ton of money to be able to do it ourselves. And by ourselves, I mean Tim. Tim doing it himself and me handing him tools.
That's right. You have many things that you do.
All right, next on the list, barnacle buster.
Oh! Perfect work, perfect work. Yep.
So we did everything we could think of to the engines to make them happy and give them some love.
Absolutely, and things were working out pretty well. We did barnacle buster through both of them to clean out the seawater cooling system, because I have to assume there were some giant barnacles living inside of there. We did oil change, and I flushed it a second time because it was pretty rough. We did all the cooling system flushed out and new coolant in there. Fuel filters, pre-filters for the Raycor and the internal filter in the engines.
Yep.
And I have a whole bunch of spares of those.
Yes.
We did the biocide inside the diesel tanks, because the diesel tanks were less than 10% for all these years, so who knows what was growing in there.
Yeah.
I did have a look, and it didn't look too bad, but I wanted to liquefy any of the sludge in there and kill off any diesel bug that was living. And that pretty much took care of it. Things were running like a top. Oh, and we did air filters too.
Yep, air filters.
So basically every easy accessory you could do on the engine, we took care of. We even back flushed the heat exchanger because there were some bits of the raw water impeller that had snapped off and got stuck in there.
Yeah, so we did a lot of stuff, and it was time, now that the engines were happy and running good,
Finally.
to get some diesel.
Yes.
All right, this morning we are going to attempt our first moving of the boat by ourselves to go get some fuel. We've done all the work on the engines, and the last step is some new diesel.
Yes. Sorry.
It's very early.
Yep.
And,
but it's the reason we'd rather go finish some coffee here first.
Yes.
But then it is dead calm for everything we've seen since
Yeah.
we've been here. The wind picks up as the day moves on, and then the gas barge can get very busy. Yeah, and so we'll let the engines idle for a while since we did all this work.
Yeah,
to them.
make sure they're running well.
going to be working well for us. I know the gory props will fold both ways now. I'm really glad we cleaned those off
Yeah.
on the hard, because they wouldn't fully go to
Yeah,
the
they were one.
other
At least one of them was kind of
barnacles. Yeah. So, yeah, here goes nothing. Spitting.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm so nervous and excited.
Okay, you can go ahead and drop.
Captain, I gotta say, it feels pretty cool to be moving our own boat, even though we're not sailing. We're moving, and it's a beautiful day.
Morning. Carry the end weight here. Well, cool. Thank you so much.
No, not that long. Not the most graceful, but we did it.
Yes, thank you. So although that was the tiniest of journeys, it felt really good to drop the mooring ball, motor down there, buy diesel, come back, and have nothing go wrong.
Yeah, it was awesome. It felt really, really good. And then in between all of the critical items that we needed to fix, we scrubbed and scrubbed
And scrub some more.
and scrubbed some more.
I never thought I'd go through a Costco-sized thing of hydrogen peroxide, but we have.
All right, today's projects. Tim is scrubbing our little dinghy down.
Yep, gotta make it a little bit cleaner. It's an old one, but hey, it'll clean up nice.
Yeah. I'm going to try and see if you can see it. I don't know on the camera, but all this is kind of like yellowy, like someone wiped it when it was dirty and just smudged everything everywhere. So I'm gonna try and clean that up. All right, today's project, scrubbing the decks. So we'll spare you from watching us clean everything. I think we have literally touched and scrubbed every inch of this boat, almost. There's still some more scrubbing to be done. But
and now that we're done, it's time to start over again because it needs it that often.
Yeah.
I think it's a perpetual thing we'll always do. We took care of a million other little projects here and there.
And Tim is working on the windlass.
Yeah, so we took, this is the gypsy, the piece that actually grabs the chain. And so we wanted to find out what kind of chain we had. We don't even know what we have really. And then also wanted to know what we can replace it with, because being an Australian boat or a European boat would have millimeters. And in the US, of course, we have chain and fractions. So we're lucky we took off this is the gypsy right here, just this little wheel. Took it to the marine supply store and fitted different chains to it and found that we have 10 millimeter chain. So the only 10 millimeter I can get in a store here easily that I found is stainless steel, which I don't think we really want. It's very expensive. And you can get 3/8 though, and it fit just about perfectly. So I think 3/8 G4 chain we can get. And this chain's tough because there's some links that look kind of scary, and then there's whole sections of it that look pretty good. Like I'd use it for a year. So I think because of the bad links, we're gonna have to go ahead and get some fresh chain. Even if we do anchor out a couple times with this chain, I don't think we'll trust it until we get fresh chain on here. But the good news is the gypsy's okay, and so we don't need to change that out to go to 3/8, I don't think. So now I'm just greasing everything and then taking any of the nuts and bolts apart and making sure there's a little bit of anti-seize on them just so they don't get themselves sort of like, not rusting because it's stainless, but oxidizing and other kinds of junk is sort of locking some of these nuts and bolts in. And if this is only 7 years old, I want to make sure we keep it moving, right? So next time we need to take it apart, maybe in an emergency or because something's actually broken, we can get all the nuts and bolts off without snapping them. Right?
Yeah, totally. Cool.
Yep, so far so good.
This stern light doesn't work, and we're not sure why, and it's not very easy to get to, so.
I'm trusting our solar arch quite a bit.
Yep.
So we have the, I don't know what the name of anything is, the little wheel, the speed sensor, the speed wheel, the knot meter, the whatever. And when we had the boat on the hard, before we owned it, there was tons of barnacles growing up inside the wheel. It was locked in place, so I cleaned it out. But when we went back in the water, I of course left it in there. But knowing that we probably have a month here on this mooring before we go anywhere, I want to put in the bung, sort of the dummy, right? So then we have nothing that can be hurt. But it is a giant hole in the boat, so it's like this big. Super common for people to do. First time for us. Okay, so that's loose. Oh, this is scary.
I know.
All right.
Nice.
No big deal, right?
Just a giant hole in our boat for a second.
Look at that. Stuff moving and growing on there. Look at all that. Isn't that wild?
Scrimps.
Yep. So, glad we took it out. Sorry, Scrimps, you're gonna have to die.
We've made it here to the side of the boat. This giant thing to try and get rid of, and it's old. It's been on there the whole life of the boat, I think, so it's not easy to get off, and it is already quite warm. I definitely will be swimming today. Tim, my lovely assistant, is handing me everything I need. Thank you. Sunglasses, realized it's very bright. All right, here we go. Two letters down. I'm sweating like crazy, but I think because of the sun, it's coming off pretty dang easy, so I'm very happy about that. Can't wait to jump in the water. I'm just dripping sweat. It's so hot and humid right now.
All I have to do is wire all of these wires here, all of these into this. Simple.
So the stereo on the boat was working until we decided to see if the DVD player would work.
Yep.
And it went in and it said loading, and then the screen just went gray.
We don't want a DVD player, so we bought this one just to have audio and music. And then if we watch a movie, it should come through the speakers, we think. What I'm thinking, because this is the wiring for our boat, this style, if I cut all these off and wire the same corresponding ones in from the new radio, much smaller connector, then we can just plug it directly into this wiring loom on the boat Easy peasy, right? We'll see how this goes.
Did you do?
I wired it in and it worked.
That's awesome.
So stoked though.
That's awesome.
Anything when you do it and it works is a great thing.
First try.
Yeah.
So that's just a teeny tiny taste of all the random projects that fill our days on the boat.
But it wasn't all work. We enjoyed our time on the boat too.
Tonight, we're testing out the barbecue. So we've cleaned it off, and we'll find out if it works and how it works.
So we didn't even know if this thing worked. This little dial that ups the fuel was completely frozen solid, so we took it apart, got it moving with a pair of vice grips. That's an easy fix, so I'm happy. And you can see how clean it is. I'm shocked at how little use it probably got over the years.
Smells really good already.
Yeah. And it's sort of a griddle style, so I can't lose any chunks of veggies. Every time we barbecue, I lose onions and stuff down in through the grate. So this is cool.
Yeah.
I have no idea what to set it at. We have no idea what we're doing, but it works.
Yeah,
And then,
we
like
don't
you
know
think
what
it would
temperature
almost
it
get
is.
too hot, but it really isn't on the sides. All the heat's kind of coming off the top. So
Yeah.
I'm in love.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's movie time now.
Movie time. We got a working TV.
The rain has stopped,
The rain has stopped.
and we're making popcorn. Hasn't popped yet. There's some butter. Pretty excited. It's a good way to end the night with some movie and popcorn.
I just love that every day we have something else working.
I know, it's
Well,
so
usually,
exciting, yeah.
Usually. Wonderful day.
Yeah, it's great.
Nice to make progress.
It is. I hear popcorn popping. We're gonna go for a sunset cruise. So many pretty boats out here. It's really cool. Like the temperature is absolutely perfect. So this is so much fun to just go and look at people boat, wave at people who are out there, and then gawk at the super yachts. So life has been really good.
Absolutely. Every day we're going to bed completely exhausted, but it's great. It's sort of completely fulfilling and completely all-encompassing.
Yeah, you feel so accomplished at the end of the day, usually.
Yeah, generally. Oh, and the thing that we were going to share with you.
Oh yes, this is very exciting. We've been waiting for the decals to show up, and the name of our boat
is Goose.
Goose.
SV Goose.
So if you followed our adventures, you'll understand the name Goose. Goose was our truck that we traveled to the tip of South America in, and we always said if we got a boat, we would name it Goose.
Absolutely. We knew years ago that if we bought a boat, what its name would be. So, welcome to Goose.
Yep, SV Goose. So there you go.
So with that, we are exhausted but very happy.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming along. To all the new subscribers
Yes.
and new patrons,
Welcome,
wow.
and thank you.
Thank you so much. It helps motivate us and keep us going. And we will see you next week.
Yep, see you next week. We're gonna have our Costco chicken.
Costco chicken and champagne.
Yeah.
What critical mission are we currently on?
Ice cream. And they didn't have the normal individual size, so we had to get a pack.
Had to.
12.
Yep. Little ones.
Totally worth it.
So we're going to see if some of them make it to the boat. If not, we'll just eat them in the dinghy on the ride back.
Hello, dreamer. You've been dreaming for so long. But now you're waking, and you're still waiting for the sun to come along. All your fantasies point